Hola mis amigos! I'm here with another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing what is predestination? Predestination is the idea that God Almighty selects a class of people who will be dedicated to his service. This can be found in Luke chapter 12 verse 32. This predestinated group is different from his other children. As it is said in John, "And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd." John chapter 10, verse 16. Thus, people like you and I aren't a part of them, and what I talk about next won't apply to us either. Why? Because God sees all our hearts, according to 1 John chapter 3 verse 20, and he is able to pick the group of people who will be as righteous as possible to work with him. He needs the cream of the crop, not just your ordinary Joe. Predestinated people are the holiest people around, according to this verse in Revelation. "These are they which were not defiled with woman, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb." Revelation chapter 14 verse 4. Another important Bible passage on predestination is the following from the book of Romans. "For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified." Romans chapter 8 verses 29 to 30. This shows how much attention and honor that people who are a part of this group will receive. They are so important, in fact, that they actually get to go to heaven, according to this verse from Revelation. "And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads." Revelation chapter 14 verse 1. Everyone else will have to settle for boring old earth, according to Psalms chapter 37 verse 11 and Matthew chapter 5 verse 5. Jeremiah is an example of someone who belonged to this predestinated class. God told him, "Before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. God would then use Jeremiah for prophecy and spiritual guidance. If Zedekiah listened to Jeremiah's advice in Jeremiah chapter 38 verses 17 to 28, Zedekiah wouldn't have lost his eyes and his family. Now, all of these predestinated people are called saints or apostles. Saints and apostles are the same thing. But not all apostles or saints end up actually doing God's work, as shown by Judas in John chapter 6 verses 70 to 71. 99.99% of the time, though, they do, because the saints are companions of the Son. God really loves his Son, and he finds it important that he has people who will vibe with him. As it was said in John, "The Father loveth the Son, and hath given all things into his hand." John chapter 3 verse 35. And of course, since these saints are helping Jesus, Jesus has a role in choosing who the saints will be. As it was said in Luke, "And it came to pass in those days, that he went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and of them he chose 12, whom also he named apostles." Luke chapter 6 verses 12 to 13. For more info, we can look at Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4 and Revelation chapter 14 verses 1 to 5, as well as chapter 19 verses 6 to 8. At this point, I would like to emphasize that God predestinated positions for people who would work with Jesus. He didn't actually predestinate the people themselves. For example, God predestinated the position of, let's say, prophet who would preach to Judah in the 6th and 7th centuries. This was a position, anyone could fill it. However, Jeremiah had the right qualifications, so it was Jeremiah who would be the prophet who would preach to Judah in the 6th and 7th centuries. Multiple people besides Jeremiah could go around filling that position. It's just that God had a role and people who were qualified could fill it. Think of it this way. The leader of a country can set up roles like Minister of Finance or Minister of Justice before he rules, and once he takes office, people who are qualified can find themselves working for him. God has roles for people who will work with Jesus, and some people will have the right qualifications while others will not. Some of these qualifications include faith and dedication to God, according to Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. You can't just sit around and wait to be a saint. No, you have to be a really hard worker. As St. Paul said, "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus." Philippians chapter 3, verses 13 to 14. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. What is predestination? Predestination is the process in which qualified people can become saints of God, who will work with His Son, Jesus Christ. For more information on what that work exactly is, check out the video "Who Are the Saints" on this very channel, and a similarly titled video on our other channel, It Pays to Fear God. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.